Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for the Criss-Cross Virtual Challenge webinar series. Human Kinetics is happy to be one of the sponsors of this innovative and exciting virtual challenge, and I know you're going to enjoy today's presentation. You will get a follow-up from us, Human Kinetics, tomorrow that will include the recording of today's webinar, and we'll have information on a way to save some money on our new and best-selling running books that will help you train for your next virtual or in-person challenge. But now let's get this webinar going. Let me turn it over to Jan Seeley, co-director of the Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon Race Weekend and creator of the Criss-Cross Virtual Challenge.
Great, thank you, Sue. So we're having just a little bit of trouble getting Lisa on with us. Lisa, are you still trying to connect in, hon?
I'm here.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, I've lost her. There she, okay, we can see her. Can we hear you? Speak and we'll see if we can hear you. No, okay, so we still can't hear her. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? You can hear us, okay. So I'm gonna try calling you back, and we were getting a lot of noise, but let's see if we can do this. We're gonna try to bring. All right, the question is whether this is gonna work. If we're talking, yeah, I guess that seems like, no, see, I'm getting an echo. Oh, frustrating. Well, we do a tech check ahead of time, folks, all of the folks that are watching, but we are having trouble with Lisa's ability to be heard. So, Sue, I don't know if you have any suggestions. My attempt to do the phone call thing didn't work. I'm wondering, would it make a difference if she called somebody else, do you think? Because I'm here, that's why we're getting echo, or?
I'm gonna see if GoToWebinar can help me.
Okay. Well, let's get started, and we'll hope that we can sort out the tech problems for poor Lisa. So again, thank you so much, all of you who are watching and have been watching since last November for our Criss-Cross virtual webinars. As we always do at the beginning of each webinar, we do just a little bit of housekeeping. So I'm going to do that before we get to our introductions and our discussion for today. First of all, I wanted to just let everybody know that round 2 of swag distribution has been completed. So whether you asked us to ship your stuff or have it delivered down to Body and Soul, that's all completed, which means we just have one more batch from about February 10th on. Registration for the Criss-Cross is going to close next week. So as soon as that's done, we will get the last of the shirts ordered, and we'll be able to take care of everybody there. Speaking of swag, you'll notice that I am wearing my Criss-Cross double quarter zip. So is Craig. So is Christina. Lisa is wearing, there you go. Lisa's wearing her West to East shirt. We have so appreciated Human Kinetics and their support, but especially Sue, who has been our trusty tech guru these many months. And so we wanted Sue to let you know that we have a full bounty of Criss-Cross swag that we have for you. So you can let me know after today's webinar what size on the quarter zip that you want. They come in women's sizes. And of course, also I have one of our great Criss-Cross Illinois Marathon masks for you. And I thought about making us all wear our beanies. That's a little dorky, but we have one of these for you as well with the Criss-Cross logo. So, and that's our way of just saying thank you for everything that you've done to make this possible.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. As we promised 3 weeks ago, we are going to tease the new upcoming virtual challenge that we are going to be launching pretty soon. So make sure you stay on till the end to hear about that. There will be a post Criss-Cross survey that we'll send out because we very much crave your feedback on your experience. This is the last webinar, so we got to go out with a bang here, and hopefully we can get Lisa's audio sorted out. But in the meantime, let me introduce everybody. First, joining us today, he's easy, he's the only guy with us, Craig Stundahl, has lived in Champaign area since 2001 when he retired from the U.S. Navy after 24 years. He now works at Strategic Farm Marketing and JICTB Inc. as an office manager. Craig's been a Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon race participant since 2015, and the 5K is his preferred distance. When health concerns kept him from running, he just simply started walking, and now he's an ardent walker who doesn't miss a day of doing at least 5 miles. Craig completed the solo double crossing, and after finishing both routes, he just felt like he wasn't done, so he deleted all his entries on the north-south route and started over, and he is hoping to be able to finish that route a second time. And I will be announcing this to all of our Criss-Cross participants. I'm going to keep the leaderboards open through the month of May, so people need a little bit more time. So Craig, just so you know, if you don't get it all in by the end of next month, you'll be good. Craig's a native of Minnesota, and he has a great tradition of going fishing up in northern Minnesota every year. So welcome, Craig.
Thank you.
Lisa, can you say anything? Are we still not hearing you? No, we're not. Okay, why don't you try calling my cell phone again? You've got that number. Lisa is a mom of 3 with a 4th on the way in early July. Born and raised in Chicago, she currently lives in Glenview, Illinois. She's a cardiac neurostroke nurse currently, but no surprise, she's on hiatus to stay at home with her 3 young girls. Running has been a passion since she was a little girl. Let me just get Lisa here. Okay. Lisa has finished countless marathons, half marathons, and Ironman events. This is just not going to work. I'm gonna disconnect you, and hopefully Sue will be able to figure it out. But I will finish your introduction. Lisa's finished countless marathon, half marathon, and Ironman events and several Illinois marathon race weekends over the years. Lisa says that virtual races are not typically her thing, but the Criss-Cross caught her eye, so much so that she requested as a birthday gift the West to East Challenge. With the cold weather coming and being pregnant, she just thought that the north-south route would be just too much mileage to finish. Little did she know that the virtual run was going to be more than just logging miles. The guidebook, the communication, webinars kept her motivated so that as soon as she finished the west to east route, she was itching for more, and she upgraded. She added the north to south route, which she has also completed, and it was just as much fun as doing the west to east. So hello, Lisa. I wish we could get your audio to work, but we'll keeping our fingers crossed. And then lastly, Tina Heidrich. She hails from Oswego, Illinois, and is also the mother of 3, although they're older. They're college and high school aged. Ethan, Julian, and Sophie, who I've never met, but I feel like I know them. They're all runners who have participated in cross-country, track, triathlons, and races of varying types and distances. Tina is a graduate of the U of I and works as the museum manager for the Little White School Museum, a community history museum, in Oswego, Illinois. She's an avid supporter, volunteer, and activist for the University of Illinois, the Illinois Extension, and the Illinois 4-H program. Tina's entire family, including her super supportive photographer husband, Jeff, are veterans of the Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon Race Week, and I actually met Tina through Jeff. I had the great pleasure, some of you already know this, of working with Tina, researching and writing the Criss-Cross guidebooks, and my life is certainly better for knowing Tina. She's passionate about people, positive experiences, diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, education, opportunity, the environment, and serving others. So welcome all of you. Sue, I know you can hear us. You are actively trying to get some assistance from GoToWebinar to see if we can figure out Lisa's problems. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. In the meantime, Lisa, I am so sorry that we're having trouble, but hopefully we can get that rectified before the end of the webinar. But I wanted to start out by talking about a little bit about how the pandemic impacted your running and walking, kind of good, bad, or otherwise. So Craig, let's start with you. I mean, what has it been like for you as someone who is an active exerciser in the world that we've inhabited the last year?
Well, in the summertime, it wasn't too bad because you could go outside. I live in the Champaign area, so I've got 2 malls here. I've got Lincoln Square Mall, which was pretty much open all the time, except for they shut down for a while for COVID. And then I have Marketplace Mall, so I've been going to those 2 places. I like to go to the Armory, but the U of I's restrictions on being tested 3 times a week, and there was just no way that I could test 3 times a week and go to the Armory. So I haven't been able to use the Armory at all. But the Armory had a good program. So I've been actually this here Criss-Cross kept me motivated and made me, it's like, I don't want to go, oh, let's go, let's just do this and be done. So that way I could get, like I said, I got 5 miles a day in or more. If the only time that I didn't was I actually came down with COVID and was stuck in the house for 2 weeks, and I didn't do anything for those 2 weeks. So coming back out and then going back after I was released from my dungeon in the house, and it was a pretty good deal. I still go walking. If it's nice outside, I'll walk outside, and if it's not very nice, then I'll try and just do indoors.
Yeah, well, we're glad that you're recovered. So thank you for telling that. Tina, how about for you? Any changes in your normal kind of exercise regime as a result of the pandemic?
It probably actually improved some of my abilities to get out and run and take on some other aspects of being physically fit. I would typically, especially in the wintry months or not so good weather, I would go to our local YMCA and utilize equipment and anything I could maybe do indoors. And that became non-existent for quite some time. And took a lot of Zoom classes. I began yoga via Zoom, and I began some other cardio classes via Zoom that were live ones, and I found that was really helping to offset what I was missing in the gyms, but I was really getting out a little bit more. And my husband is an incredibly avid walker, all types of weather. There's not much that will deter him, as so he's always a very good inspiration for all of us if we're feeling perhaps it's not the best to go out, or we're feeling maybe a little lazy or something. But I did find, even as a whole family, there were so few things that we could do. Being out and running, especially early on, was one of the huge benefits we could all take advantage of. And where we live in Oswego, we're very fortunate to have a lot of running paths and walking paths and biking paths nearby that are at least maintained and cleared and beautified. So that was very enticing to get out and enjoy. And I also had developed a routine with my oldest son, Ethan, who at the onset of the pandemic was working for the university as a student employee, but also an essential worker. And he did need to return after their spring break last year. And I was really concerned about him being very isolated. The students weren't encouraged to have a lot of, of course, and nothing was in person, and there were no real social activities. So every day we set a time, and he and I would go for a run. We would call on our cell phones, and we would just be on. We weren't always necessarily talking or visiting, we sure were, but it kind of kept, I felt like it kept him motivated, or maybe he was just fearful of the repercussions if he didn't stick with me on that. But it was just really nice. It kept me motivated, it kept him motivated, and it was just kind of an interesting and fun way that we did stay connected, and thought, gosh, how silly, we could have always done this. Or sometimes we'd call another family member and do that along the way. So trying to make and take advantage, of some of the silver linings of a pandemic situation. Those were some of the things I think it encouraged us to be more physically fit and be more cognizant of being physically fit and the relationships we can build through that.
I've heard of so many people who did that exact thing, where they would go on runs with their pods in, and they're having a conversation with somebody that they didn't think to do that. So yeah, for me, I think working mostly from home, even though Champaign-Urbana is not a very big town, it does take me a good 15 minutes to get up to the race office, and if I have meetings. So instead of doing that several times a day, if you add that up, it ended up giving me an extra hour or so a day that I rewarded myself with more exercise. So, a good day for me is 2 workouts, either a run and a walk, or 2 walks, or a swim and a walk, or whatever. So I think, that's actually kind of helped me. Lisa, I want to make sure that I know we're trying everything to get you so we can hear you. There is a little control box that has a microphone and a video cam, and the slash mark is not through the microphone, correct?
I'm currently on the phone through audio.
Awesome! Yay! Oh, hello! Yay! Sue Outlaw, we owe you. So
Glad that worked. Yes.
yay! Oh, hooray! Fabulous. So anyway, so I feel like I got a little extra time because I wasn't driving all over the place, and much more efficient with my meetings because I was doing them via Zoom. So that extra time was a silver lining for me. But Lisa, how about for you?
So in fact, the pandemic has helped my running. When we first started the quarantine back in March, I was putting in, 70, 80 plus miles a week because it was literally the only time I could go anywhere outside. And so I kind of banked on that mileage. Now as time has gone on, my mileage has been pretty steady, 50, 60 miles a week, just dropping down now, 40 or 50, and finally got over the hesitation of the gym in the past couple of weeks and started swimming again as a supplement. But I have to say that running was the best part of this whole pandemic, is just being able to get out there, clear my mind, and feel refreshed when I came back home, because we all know being stuck in the house with your family, whether it's your spouse or your kids, all day without any reprieve can be very exhausting. So I'm just glad to be out and enjoying the fresh air, even when it was a little bit difficult in terms of the elements, but glad to be out there.
Yeah, my circle of friends here that I would see more socially, which we weren't able to do, I started having very specific running dates with friends, because I would run physically distanced with one person, but every Monday I would do that with my friend Kathy, and that was really nice to have. Kind of the pandemic kind of forced that to happen. And force isn't the right word, because it was just all joy. But we talk about how let's just keep doing this, even when we can start moving about again. Let's keep running every Monday morning. So okay, so you guys are having your normal lives. You're dealing with the pandemic in your way, and along comes Crazy Jan. I'm like a mad scientist here, just thinking up crazy race ideas. I've said this maybe a couple times in the early webinars. I knew we weren't going to be traveling. We are obviously the Illinois Marathon, we're the Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon, but we are the only marathon that is, really the sort of the state marathon, because Chicago is the massive mega, Abbott World Major. It's more of a global event, and we're more of a state event, even though we have runners from nearly every state. About 85% of our runners historically do live in the state. So I was kind of counting on a lot of interest in our state. And I thought, we can't travel. How cool would it be to do a multi-week challenge where we could be learning about our state while we're here, so that when we can start traveling, we'll maybe go to some of the cool towns. So when I want to ask you each, like, why you decided to do the Criss-Cross. I know, as I said in your introduction, Lisa, you got it as a birthday gift. You're not normally someone who does virtual events. Tell us why you kind of piqued your interest.
So to be honest with you, I know you put on an awesome race weekend. I saw you were leading this event, and I said it has to be fun. I kind of sat on it for a month thinking, I'm not going to register for this. But then, I don't know, something about it. I think I needed the excitement. And once I got started in it, probably the first run or two, I realized that just putting into the dashboard and seeing other runners out there doing the same thing was very motivating. And so it was great.
Yeah, great. Craig, how about for you?
For me, I got an email from you or whoever saying this Criss-Cross was coming up and everything, and I talked to my wife about it, and she says, yeah, unbeknownst to me, she was probably saying, yeah, do it, because you're going to do it then, you're going to walk and stuff. I actually kind of made a game out of it. I started with the north-south route, and I would key in my miles on a daily basis, and then I'd take a picture of it, and I'd send it to my wife and say, hey, I'm here. I'm going to stop here for the night, and I'm going to do this. So any little small town on the route and everything like that. But I started with the north-south route instead of the west-to-east route, and you didn't have the book ready at that time when I started the north-south route. So I was kind of, you know, behind the curve on the route as far as looking at towns and stuff like that. But I've been looking at them, and that's kind of neat having the towns.
Yeah, that's fun. Taking a picture, I know that the leaderboard is a public space, so family members can log in, and they can't put miles in for you, but they can certainly see, where you are. And both of my sons are doing it. My older son, who lives in Boston, just hadn't been logging any of his miles. We got them all in last night, and I showed him all the cool, features of the leaderboards. Like, wow, this is really awesome. I'm sorry I've missed it for all these months, but it is really kind of neat. How about for you? How about for you, Tina? I know we have a backstory with your family, but I guess, why did you guys decide to do it? And might as well just skip ahead. You were the captain of a 10-person team, so kind of walk us through that.
Absolutely. And much like Lisa, we weren't really sure early on when things started going virtual. Well, how is this going to work? And then we weren't sure. We're like, oh, and my son Julian and I, like exactly 1 week before things had completely sort of shut down here, we had just done an in-person racing event. So we were coming off of doing things like, well, how is this going to work? How could that be? Because all of that excitement that you do experience with a live event is unique, and that's of course part of the fun of it. And we did start doing virtual, and we did complete the Illinois marathon pieces that we were going to do virtually, and we found that we really enjoyed these, and we found that they were very, I guess, sort of team building within our own family, like, hey, this is something we can all do. And so my son Ethan, who's down at the university on campus, he can still do this race with all of us. We're still sort of together, even though we're apart. And we started finding, when we would decide to do a virtual and log miles, we went somewhere outside of our regular running or walking paths. We went to maybe a forest preserve path that was open for walkers and runners, and that's where we did it. So it sort of gave us that feeling of being at a destination, and we would put on all of our things, and we would take photos, and we'd kind of make a big deal out of it for ourselves, and so on. And so when it came time for the Criss-Cross, kind of had a little bit of that background, and I do tend to be a little bit over the top in getting my family involved in things. And I thought, oh, this is just wonderful. And I thought, well, hey, we can have teams, we can have up to 10 teams. My parents, who are in their very early 80s, who you'd think they were probably like 40 maybe with the level of activity they do and just the way they are, they had been going to work out at fitness centers like 3 times a week, and they had walking patterns, and they were really active prior to the pandemic, very active at home. And I thought, they've never done one of these races. Maybe I can coax them into doing this with us as a team. And my sister and her family, who aren't far away, they live in Chicago. They're about 40 miles from us, but we don't get to see them to really do races in a non-pandemic situation. Just never seems to work out. They don't really do these things. Maybe I can talk them into it. And in all honesty, I thought it might be a difficult sell. Got everybody on board with doing this. They're like, this is great. And I was showing the swag, how we could really all, how fun we can get on Zoom and take pictures and just little things like that. So 10 people on our team, and not knowing where we would travel, we have, we did both routes. We've done them several times now with everybody's enthusiasm and getting mileage. My parents are religious with a weekly email with their updates for each of them, and they walk in their house and they log miles, and it is sometimes as much as 3.5 to 5 miles, and they cover a lot of ground in their home, and they don't have a huge span. It's not like they have a 5-mile to be able to be walking around, and we really stay together. Everybody who's on the team, we connect Sunday via Zoom. We started doing this at the onset of the pandemic last March. And our team is aptly named the Sunday Zoomers, which my mom suggested because that was something that we all had in common. And we all have varying degrees of abilities and interest in walking or running, and it's the miles that count, but it's super fun. And what we found now going through this, we've taken also the individual locations to see, like, hey, grandpa's done this many miles. Hey, he's that much further ahead than grandma if you really spread that out. And, and here they are on the different things. So we've had a lot of fun taking them individually, but doing it as a team. And I've definitely been sort of our captain cheerleader, annoyer probably at times as well, but all in good fun.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard so many tales of family members, college roommates who came together, siblings who were scattered all over the country. I didn't think that we would have people from so many states, but we ended up with participants in over 40 states and 4 countries. And it's because of that, it's because of the team element and these extra connections that were happening among these friends and family members, because it was a little bit annoying, but the captain is the one who has to put in all the entries for the team, and it's all about the team moving forward. And I think that in a way is better. I mean, I've cited this example before, that there's a team from my Quaker meeting here in Champaign that I belong to, and it's a group of women, and the captain is in her early 80s, and she's the most enthusiastic person in the Criss-Cross, and she only goes about a half a mile every day with her walker. And meanwhile, she's got other people on the team that are doing 5, 6, 7 miles. And who cares who's doing what? It's all about the team moving forward. And like your team, Tina, they did both routes, and then they are doing it again. So do you know, I bet you do, what's the total number of miles your team has done? Because it was a little over 2,000 when we finished the guidebook. Are you up like closer to 3?
We're at about 2,800 at this point, and
Wow.
I will say not all of them. It's actually my own kids who've been the ones that have been a little lax in staying on top of things. So I tell you, my husband and grandpa, they get the award for being the most dedicated in keeping that updated for me, so I could in turn update our, we've got a spreadsheet, and then of course the leaderboard that we would.
Yeah, that's so cool. You talk about your parents doing the walks, some of the walks in their house. We have a participant in Urbana. His name is Case Sprengel, who does our 5K every year. He's in his 80s. He did every mile of the double crossing in his house. Never ran or walked. He doesn't run. He walks. He didn't walk a single mile outside. He did them all, which is, God love him, I'll tell you. So Lisa, what were some of the favorite, most enjoyable parts of your journey, which I know you're still on? Just if you had to cite a couple.
Yeah, it was really great. So I really appreciated logging in my miles and kind of seeing where the little dot showed up on the map. And so looking at the guidebook, and to be honest, living in Illinois this whole time, I hadn't heard of half of these towns, these small towns. I knew nothing of them. But as you know, having small kids, your running life kind of revolves around your family. So learning about these small towns and how they have tons of family-friendly opportunities is ideal. I actually circled a couple on the map of locations that have family-friendly ideas, so we can go out there, because we all know we plan family vacations about where I can run. And so I'm hoping, especially since they're kind of isolated in small towns, it might be perfect for this, as long as this pandemic goes on, to check out some of these places that aren't so touristy. So not only was I running, but I felt like I was traveling, and it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah. How about for you, Craig?
I just enjoyed stopping. Like I said, I stopped every night. I'd log in my miles in the morning, and then I'd say, hey, I ended up in this place, or I ended up in this place, and my wife would text me back saying, I've never heard of that one, or I've heard of that one. Let's go, And even like the last webinar when we said like Casey, Illinois, we're gonna end up going to Casey just because it sounds like it's a neat little place, and stuff like that. And it's within it's an easy drive, down there and stuff like that. So we'll go down there and see the sights and stuff like that.
I can already imagine, if it's possible, to see your little girls in the big chair there in Casey that they talked about. There's like the world's largest rocking chair or something. So, well, speaking of the guidebook, I know Tina and I are so proud of how it came out. I'm going to show my screen very quickly, just because I want to remind everybody that these guidebooks are a lasting legacy of our Criss-Cross. The material's not gonna go old. But let me just show my screen here. Let's see, am I showing my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, so there is a guidebook for both routes. We finished the north-south, half of the north-south, or a third of the north-south, and all of the west-east route back in the end of 2020, and then finished up the last of the north-south route. But you can see there's 74 towns here. Of course, our little character, Chris, who pops up now and again. So basically, there's information about every single town, village, and city along the way, what to see, why you're there, and you know, use this, download it, and let it be your guide as you start, you know, as Lisa mentioned, you know, starting to make a few trips. But I thought we could talk for a few minutes about some of our favorite places along the route, or things that you remember about reading. I kind of did a quick review this morning for myself. How about for you, Tina? What's one of your favorite towns or things along either the west to east or the north to south route?
There's a lot, and I felt that we actually travel through Illinois a lot, through, as you mentioned, some of our family involvement in Illinois 4-H, and we've had a lot of things where we have traveled for just various things, and I thought, oh, I have a pretty good handle on it, and I learned that there's so much I didn't even realize that, you know, existed in so many places to go to. One of the areas that I probably was so interested is down toward, as we get traveling toward Cairo, toward the end, in that part of the state where the area is just so different from what we have here in more northern Illinois, more of even like Illinois' bayou. I know I came across that often being referred to. So between restaurants or outdoor experiences, that's definitely an area that I don't have very much experience traveling through. Learned so much about it, and really can't wait to do some exploring down there. And along the west to east route, I ended up getting a holiday gift because of a cheese location that we learned about in Vivian, Illinois, and sent cheese to my family for a holiday treat, and that was really fun. And that all came about because I learned about it actually in the guide and thought, this is great, let me check this out. And yes, they ship it out, and that's just, it was really great to know. So I can't wait to discover even more places, and as we're driving around and getting out, hopefully in the not too distant future, maybe those places that we just drove by or saw a mile marker or a sign, they have a whole new meaning to me now, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. How about for you, Craig?
I think on my account, I do a lot of traveling in the summertime. So I'm going to download both of the guidebooks and everything. And I go all over the state of Illinois. So all the way from the Wisconsin border all the way down. So, and we do a lot of counties and a lot of pictures and stuff like that for one of the companies that I work for. So I'm going to take the guidebooks with me, I think, and then I'm going to look at, you know, see where I'm at night and say, hey, maybe I can go there, maybe I can go here, maybe I can go here, or actually look, you know, set up my nights or something like that for another place that I don't know what's going on, and see if there's something I can see there.
Yeah, you know, I did a lot. I did more than Tina had time to do, but I would often interview people. I would just like call up a church or the post office and find out if I could talk to somebody, you know, and I'd be talking to the postmaster and they're like, hey, Dolores, there's some lady on the phone here that's looking for somebody that's lived in the town for a while, you know, and then I would talk to Dolores, and Dolores would tell me to call Louise, and then I would talk to Bill. By the time I was done, you know, I got to some real, I mean, you really get insider information. I mean, before I go to Lisa, real quick for me, a real quick list. I loved Hull, Illinois, is one of the first towns on the west to east, and they have a race there, and their shirt is called Hull of a Race. That's what it says on the t-shirt. Hull of a Race. I thought that was cute. I loved learning about a building in New Salem that was built in pre-Civil War era. It's an antique shop, but it was part of the Underground Railroad safe house route after the war, as slaves made their way up from the south to the north. So that building is still there. It's an antique, but it's called the Underground Railroad Antique. Of course, the Bird City boys in Griggsville had no idea that the town of Griggsville was the purple martin capital of the nation. I love and can't wait to go to the Live Nativity in Muncie, which is the town next to Fithian, where Tina got the cheese stuff. On the north-south route, one of my favorite interviews was with a woman named Charlotte Olson from Cedar Point. I'm like, so Charlotte, what do you think? What's the coolest thing about your town? She said, my fried chicken. I own Lady Junebug's, diner, and my fried chicken is the best in the area. And like 2 towns later, when I was talking to somebody, I said, is it really true that Charlotte Olson's fried chicken, and the gal that I was talking to in that town said, oh my God, yes, I go over there all the time for her fried chicken. I love how many Carnegie libraries there are in the state of Illinois. Of course, I love Chris, our character, and thank you very much to Emma Herzog for making that. I can't wait to get a burger at Buford's Pub in Sedoris. Tuscola, I want to go to the Fleesner's Candy Shop. I want to go to the Wishing Well in Mason, and then my heart just, as you know from my final essay in the guidebook, my heart just went out to the city of Cairo, and I hope that they come back strong. So how about for you, Lisa?
Same thing like Craig. I printed out and downloaded both the north and south and west, east. And we have a goal this summer to hit as many Illinois state parks as possible. And so with traveling, we make some stops when we're on our road trips. And so it's going to be extremely handy to have this guidebook where we're at, what there is to do, where we can stop. I liked how you put in important playgrounds and nature areas and museums, all things that are really pertinent to what's going on in my life at the current time. And so I really appreciated that. And I think I've always heard of these towns being, close to Champaign, but like I never really knew about like the Arcola and Tuscola. And I think we'd like to check out the Amish culture. And it seems like we can make a day trip of a couple of the different towns. Years back, I had done the Allerton Half Marathon, and I remember it being beautiful, and I actually didn't know there was anything to Monticello. And so now knowing that there's somewhere beautiful and there's things to do in the town, it's just like, it's really motivating to get out there and check out these places, even if it's just one small area that you're looking at. But when you have a map of so many different possibilities when you're in an area, it's ideal. And so I really appreciate having this.
Yeah, it's really amazing how different our state is from top to bottom. To your point, Tina, I mean, when you're down in Southern Illinois, I mean, it's like a Southern town, but in a Northern state, and it's so different. The topography is so different, and you wouldn't know that you're in Illinois. And some of the images that Corey Job shared with us 3 weeks ago in the Hidden Gems webinar was like, no, we're not in Illinois. I'm like, yeah, we are in Illinois. So I agree that there's a year's worth of travel that you can do just staying in our state. And that was certainly, part of my motivation in both doing the race and celebrating the state, as well as doing the guidebooks. Well, it's time to tease in a very big way the upcoming, I just figured strike while the iron is hot. I honestly have only had really positive comments from certainly not all of the people that have done the race, but many, many, many people have taken the time. I got a note last night from a participant just saying she just finished her double route and how enjoyable it was. So, even though we are hoping to have a new additional in-person event in September, there'll be a big announcement going out tomorrow about that. There's no guarantee that we'll be able to do that, even though we're feeling positive about it. So I wanted to do another virtual challenge that would keep us engaged for the rest of the year. And so, having done the north and south routes, but I wanted to stay in Illinois, let me just tell you the name of the event is called, and Tina was part of the team that came up with this name. It's called Pace and Pedal Perimeter Challenge. Pace and Pedal Perimeter Challenge. So let me quiz you, Lisa. What are we doing? Where are we going to be, first of all?
Illinois.
Good. Okay. What part of Illinois? Anybody other than Tina, because she knows.
All around the whole state.
We're going around the perimeter. Pace and pedal. Any ideas? Well, I'll tell you. You can run or walk, or you can bike.
Oh.
So, and you do, so same kind of setup as the Criss-Cross. You sign up as a solo or a team. You can do the full perimeter, which is a whopping 1,268 miles. That'll keep you busy till December 31st, won't it, Lisa? Maybe you'll have a little time off. You can do the half perimeter, which is 634, or the quarter, which is 317. You sign up to either do the run walk like we had for the Criss-Cross or the bike. I'm also thinking of adding an upgrade for people like me who bike, run. I'm going to sign up for one of the runs, and then I'm going to upgrade so that I can also do the bike, but I don't have to pay for the swag. I just pay a little bit of an extra fee. What I'm most especially excited about is not just that we're doing this, but that we've added a cool character and theme for the race, and that is that our event is going to be focused on being as environmentally friendly as possible. So all of our swag is green. The tagline for the event, and I'll give you the full name again, is Pace and Pedal Perimeter Challenge, and the tagline is taking big steps toward a smaller footprint. Now, I got a few show and tells already. We are working with a company called recoverbrands.com, and all of the swag that we'll be giving out, that we'll have 3 different kinds of shirts: short sleeve for the quarter, long sleeve for the half, and a cool hoodie for the full people going around. They are made from 100% water bottles, okay? This amazing shirt that I'm holding up, and it's this really cool kind of earthy green color. This is the women's quarter trip shirt. This, if you could feel it, it's like a baby's bottom. This is made of 100% water bottles. The hoodie that the full trippers are getting is this really cool guy right here with this cool hood. Same thing, 100% made of water bottles. We're going to be giving as a second swag item to everybody, Bib Boards, right? We all have a million pins. It's not good for the environment. We throw them out. They end up in landfills. Everyone's going to get logoed Bib Boards. How these work, you put them on your bib, goes through one side of the shirt, the other, it snaps together. You'll never need another pin again. We're going to give out as a third swag item, collapsible water cup. Take it where you go. You never need another cup again. And then lastly, we are going to give everybody the option of, instead of getting a challenge coin at the end, we will donate the cost of your challenge coin to a local nonprofit that is an environmental agency. So we're very excited that we are going to be, and hopefully, I haven't asked HK yet, but if they will continue to host our webinars, we'll do one a month, and we're going to really focus on topics that are about the environment and how we as runners and walkers can be good stewards of the earth. My son is a climate scientist at Harvard, so he's already agreed to come on board and do a visit with us, and I've got a million other ideas in my head. So that is going to launch on Earth Day. Registration for the Pace and Pedal Perimeter Challenge will launch on April 22nd, Earth Day, and I'm hoping that everybody who has done the Criss-Cross will just say, that was so much fun, sign me up again. So very excited about that. What do you guys think? It's the first, Craig, that you and Lisa have heard about it. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I'll do it for no problem whatsoever. I got to look for the next thing, because if this runs out, what am I going to do then?
Exactly.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. What do you think, Lisa?
Count me in. I'm just thinking to myself, will I do the 3, 6, or should I just do the full challenge? Or should I upgrade in the middle?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be 30. It's going to be 36 weeks, so we got plenty of time. Again, there's always the team option, but anyways, that's my big tease. We will start promoting it in a few weeks. We want to end by again thanking Human Kinetics. First of all, thank you, Tina. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Lisa. I'm so thankful that we were able to get you so we could hear you. I love your purple shirt. I want to end by plugging one of the latest Human Kinetics releases. It is the Daniels Running Formula. Sue, do you have a copy of the book?
I just happen to have one, right?
Well, there you are. So this new edition of Human Kinetics' best-selling running book, Daniels Running Formula, is now available. Get even more precise training plans, new insights from his acclaimed Run Smart project, expanded sections on treadmill training, hill altitude training, and new chapters on training for ultra distance events, triathlons, and so much more. And for the next few days, Human Kinetics is offering a great deal. Buy the new Daniels book and get any other running book for 40% off. So many good choices. We've talked about some of them in past webinars: the Happy Runner, Advanced Marathoning, Running Flow, Running Anatomy, and more. any of those books are going to help you get to the finish line feeling stronger and more confident. Now, Sue is going to send all of you who have signed up for today's webinar information. Sue, can you make sure you send it to us as well? Because I am finally going to make a purchase, and I'm going to get the new Daniels book for Jake, and then I've been wanting to get the Happy Runner. So make sure that we have that. But Sue will send the information for how we can cash in on that great offer. And again, Sue, thank you so much. It's been so much fun working with you on this project. And
thank you. It's been very interesting to hear all the stories and all the successes. It's been great.
Yeah, very good. And Tina, good luck. I actually have 80 more miles to go in my double crossing, so I'm poised to finish sometime the week of the 12th. So that should be no problem. I knew it was going to be coming in a little bit hot at the end, but I'm excited, and I'll be ready to sign up for the next one. So Craig, Lisa, Tina, thank you so much. And to all of you out there watching, may you keep running and walking and enjoying life. So with that, take care, everybody.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.